So Penny and I are up here in Thurmont, Maryland, and we are picking up some hatching eggs. And they are Black Copper Marans. They are a breed of chicken that lays these really dark brown, chocolatey colored eggs, and they're absolutely beautiful. And we are going to raise that variety, and we're looking forward to it. All right, so we're getting ready to put the eggs in the incubator. We have a Brinsea Octagon Eco incubator. It holds 20 or 24 eggs. We've used it one time last year about this time, and we got a pretty good hatch rate. Well, it wasn't great. It was probably only about 50 or 60%. I think what we did wrong was we didn't have proper monitoring of the temperature and the humidity. So it's very important to especially have both the temperature and the humidity tracked closely. But we were good on temperature last year, but the humidity we were not. So you can see right now it's 97 degrees in the incubator with 32% humidity. And for the first 2 weeks of hatching, the humidity should be
between 40 and 50.
Between 40 and 50, and what should it be in the final?
65%.
65%. Black Copper Maran eggs right here. They look very nice. You can see how deep brown they are. And we also have some of our own eggs here. So combined, I think we'll have about 20 of them. We'll just fill the incubator up. Then you put a little bit of water in the bottom here, and because the humidity is so low right now inside the house, especially this time of year, we found that we had to soak some paper towels and to lay them in the bottom of the incubator, and that really boosts the humidity quite a bit. Okay.
I'm also going to insert a tube so that I can fill the water easily. Hopefully I can do this. So I can fill the water easily when the incubator is closed, so that I'm not opening and closing it all the time. Regular 6-link eggs. You know what? I think it might be better to take it off the rocker. And then when you have your egg, there's a wide point and a narrow point. You want to put the narrow point down.
So pointy end down.
And you do that so that there's more air in the top of the egg, and the chick has enough air. I'm also putting in a few of our green eggs so that we can have some more colorful eggs.
Now, people ask a lot about fertile eggs versus unfertile eggs and eating them, and how do you tell whether or not you have a fertile egg versus a non-fertile egg. Sometimes when you crack an egg open, there will be like a little blood spot on the yolk. Some people will think that that's indicative of it being a fertile egg. Well, it's not. That's just technically a little bit of a defect in the egg. It's still totally edible, but you know, it just doesn't look very attractive, and you know, it's more common in brown eggs than white eggs, from what I understand. But that has nothing to do with whether or not the egg is fertile. A fertile egg, when you crack it open, on the yolk you will see a little white spot. It's very small. It's maybe, oh, it's bigger than a pinhead, but not a whole lot bigger than that. And if it has a bit of a bullseye, then that means it's been fertilized. It's perfectly fine to eat fertilized eggs. I think in some cultures it's even like considered they're desired even more than just a regular unfertilized egg. But in terms of eating them, they are indistinguishable between fertile and unfertile eggs.
We need a few of our eggs that were laid today. So we may have to go to the coop and get 4 more eggs.
So we have one hen that has been broody for the last several weeks. So when they go broody, they'll just sit on either their eggs or anybody else's eggs and try to hatch them. Usually in the spring they like to do that. So that's probably her own egg right there, but she's trying to hatch that out. So these are all just laid today, and she's trying to go in the other box. So they're not very happy when you take them out of the box when they're broody like that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
16,
and then 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's pretty good haul. We've been getting a lot more eggs starting sometime in March. Yeah.
Okay, so we've run down to the chicken coop and picked out a few more eggs. Hopefully, these will hatch for us.
I think they will. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna add temperature gauge and the hydrometer in here, along with a heating element. Closes tight, and in 15 days we will open it up and take a look at them. Can put a flashlight underneath them and we'll be able to see if there's been any activity in the 15 days.
So this has a little motorized device that just turns the incubator constantly. So, you know, when eggs are being hatched naturally by being sat on, the eggs jostle around a little bit, and that's enough to keep the membrane from sticking to the inside of the shell. So this kind of simulates that. So the constant rocking just ensures that the egg's not sitting in one position for the duration of the hatching. And if that happened, it wouldn't be good, because that membrane would potentially stick. So when they hatch out, they'll just start hatching right in there. And something we did last year that was a mistake, I think we got excited and we opened the incubator after one or two of the chicks had hatched, and that sort of messed up the humidity inside the incubator, and that's a really critical time. So we won't do that this year. So it's been 5 days with the little chicks already, and they're already a lot bigger than what they were when we picked them up last week. They grow really fast at this age, and they seem to be doing really well. I thought they would stay under the heat lamp a lot more than what they do, but they seem to really only go under there at nights. I just now put a little straw here in the back area, and they really are liking being able to scratch around in that. I set up a little kind of barricade with the bucket and the bags to kind of keep them from scratching it toward the heat lamp. I think it'll be okay. So one question that kind of struck me last year was, when you're at a farm, you always see a little hen with like 10 little chicks following behind her, and they're always the same age. So I got to thinking, like, a hen only lays one egg a day at best, and so how is it that she has all these chicks that hatch all at the same time? So I did a little research and learned that after the egg is laid in the nest, it stays viable for several days, and I think even maybe a couple of weeks. And once the hen has a sufficient number of eggs collected, it might be eggs from another hen even, that's called a clutch of eggs. Once she's satisfied with the number she has, at that point she'll sit on them. So, and that's when the incubation period starts. So a fertile egg actually remains dormant until it's at the appropriate temperature of incubation. So I thought that was a pretty interesting thing. I hadn't really ever thought about that until we had our chickens and started hatching our own eggs, and yeah, it's pretty neat.